one of my 3 favorite words I've heard that actually is shorthand for me understanding his strategy. Volatility is vitality, right? He views it as a form of life. And he is right. It's a huge reason, you mentioned, James, why he can issue these converts is the volatility. He doesn't seem to mind people shorting it, double levering it.
He doesn't mind it at all.
He likes it.
He likes it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Wants it.
He embraces the volatility, and I think he did a brilliant job on Natalie's podcast explaining this, where he has raw Bitcoin that has a vol of like 60, and he's like, but a lot of people don't want to do that. It's like if I wanted to, have my, niece plug in a hairdryer on like a crazy volt, whatever, and just electrocute herself, that's not going to do well. I got to tone it down to like a 12 volt. And so like that's what these institutional investors want. They want like just toned down Bitcoin. And he's like, I'm going to give it to him. So I created an engine in MicroStrategy where I'm going to take the fire, the volatility Bitcoin, and I'm going to tone it down and transform it into different products. And so he's not stopping at fixed income. He's going to go to preferred stocks. He's going to do all different kinds of things. And he's even talking about convertibles in a ton of different ways than what we're seeing now. And so you're going to see him become this Bitcoin bank where he's going to just create these. It's financial engineering. He said, I'm not a trader, I'm an engineer. And instead of being an MIT aeronautical engineer, he's a financial engineer now, and he's going to just pump out these things.
I was going to say he is a rocket scientist trained at MIT. Is this
systems engineer, right?
Is this Bitcoin DeFi? What he's doing? It's not DeFi, obviously,
Wait.
but I'm saying like, isn't this?
Well, this is a big difference between 2021 and 2024, because if you want to go degen, I mean, you might as well just go into a 2x MSTR, which is actually have a Bitcoin it's underlying Bitcoin, than some kind of random shitcoin, right? And it seems like if you look at I posted this chart of Bitcoin versus the top 100 market cap of the altcoin market or something, and it's since 2023, it's just completely separated, right? Bitcoin's just crushed all the other altcoins. And I mean, we can talk about Ethereum the same way. Since they moved to proof of stake, same thing. And so that's a huge difference between 2021, because in 2021 you had the stereotypical bull market.
I mean, Jimmy Fallon was holding up his Bored Ape on his TV show.
You had
Paris Hilton.
You had a rock selling for $3 million. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous.
A picture of a rock, not even a real rock.
Yeah, a picture of a rock.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I like gemstones.
You had the altcoins typical.
They're coming
beta.
back.
But this is a little different. Like, it seems like Bitcoin separated itself, and now if you wanted to go even more degen, you're going to go into these like levered Bitcoin investment vehicles via MicroStrategy.
There are options.
There'll be other lever vehicles and other.
Sorry, I meant lowercase options, not tradable options. But yeah, there are new Bitcoin-denominated products. Do you think that? What if there is? But this might be derailing a little bit. But the Bitcoin Layer 2 thing that's happening. If a DeFi, I don't know, that's adopted, which is a big question if it will emerge. If it comes about, I think one of the key things that would be required is a true trustless bridge to like an L2 that has it. But if there was a way to do Ethereum-style DeFi on Bitcoin, do you think that might eat into the demand for MSTR? Right, if there was leveraged Bitcoin on chain or that type of stuff?
I don't know if it would eat into it, because I don't know, those DeFi products, like, what's the long-term investment thesis to actually hold
What if you could get a 2x levered Bitcoin exposure?
Just with no counterparty risk, and it's just smart contract.
Let's say it was no counterparty risk. I mean, to be clear, that doesn't exist yet, but that is the goal of several of these teams, right?
I mean, maybe that's like
I have a question. I have it for you, Sam, or either of you. MicroStrategy's market cap is about $90 billion. We'll say.
$89.9 billion as of today, market close. I checked.
For a fun fact, it's going to be added to the NASDAQ 100, which is one of the largest indices in the U.S. At the end of this month. Mm-hmm. My question, though, it holds about $30-ish billion of Bitcoin on its balance sheet. Do you think the $90 billion market capitalization is justified? 3x levered on the Bitcoin it holds.
The right question, like, we don't know, because this has never been done, what he's doing. And so what premium do you put on MicroStrategy stock for the ability to continue to access the capital markets to keep buying Bitcoin and assets that's appreciating at 50% KGAR right now? Like, it's hard to put. I don't know what the premium is.
I
don't
agree with
know.
that.
I don't
agree
know.
with that
Like,
question.
I don't think anybody knows.
Not to. There might be some shitcoiners in the audience. Don't identify ourselves. It's kind of like a DeFi
You write
protocol
research about all
token.
shitcoins.
Yes,
What
I
do you mean?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I actually hire other people to do that for me. It's kind of like, though, like a DeFi protocol that does this thing with the Bitcoin. And what is the value of that protocol? And that is unknown. And no one, like you said, Sam, no one's ever done this with Bitcoin. What is the value of the financial management, the investment acumen, the access to the... And we've seen there are smaller companies, right? Metaplanet, Semler Scientific, others
Right.
that are expressly following this strategy, but they're much smaller. So they don't have the access. They don't, even if they do have the access, it's at such a smaller scale, it's really not comparable. I mean, to be clear, nothing is comparable to what MicroStrategy is doing.
Liquidity. I mean, they were literally the top traded
Yeah.
stock.
It's one of their bonds are among the biggest converts of the last month, like in the whole of markets. And MSTR is the best performing stock of the year, globally, basically.
Better than NVIDIA.
It's better than NVIDIA by almost double on a risk-adjusted basis. I ran this like yesterday. The Sharpe ratio is almost double NVIDIA.
They're convertible bonds.
Despite how volatile it is.
Outperform Bitcoin.
That's what I'm saying. So it is unknown, but you really are buying a vehicle that does this with Bitcoin. You're not buying the Bitcoin. You're buying the vehicle that does this with Bitcoin.
Michael Saylor says, like, hey, my strategy is the most replicable, right? Like, you can't replicate NVIDIA's strategy.
Yeah,
but
you can't just like show up and like
but
go to
I don't
a
know if that's
foundry
even
and make
necessarily
chips.
true because, like, yes, you can do what he's doing, but you can't replicate what MicroStrategy's done, and I don't think anybody's going to catch them.
I'm not sure if anyone could do it. Maybe if a pool of capital like Apple did it with their
No,
capital.
even then, because the stock wouldn't move as much because it has way higher revenues.
No, but they wouldn't be 100% Bitcoin treasury, though.
I'm saying maybe if they were, maybe if they abandoned all their stuff and used all their money to do exactly
literally,
what he's doing.
if they went 100% Bitcoin.
That's what I'm saying. But like it's there is no pool of capital of this size willing to do this, and even if there was, like you said, it's NVIDIA, Apple, Berkshire Hathaway. Like they're encumbered by other factors, right? Like there's no way to know.
Yeah, it's not crazy to have a premium.
This is where I wonder.
I just don't know what the premium is, because I don't think it's right to look at it just the book value of the Bitcoin and be like, oh,
Agreed.
it's 3 times value, because you have to like look at the future.
I mean,
Yeah,
tech stocks
ability
trade at
to-
50x PE.
Exactly.
Like, should it be
I mean,
3 or 10 or 1? I mean,
Saylor says it all the time. He's like, if a company is valued on what it's projected to do and going forward, and like we shouldn't be based on the value. And I think that's like if like anyone who I talk to says it should be traded to book value or maybe in a discount. I'm like, no, there's some forward-looking things that they can do. The way you can access the market, I would argue, deserves some sort of a premium. But I just feel like this 3x level seems a little insane.
There's
to me.
also seems to be.
But I don't touch it. You could not pay me to short it. But
Well,